Right now on News 3 this morning, Saturday, a candidate running to replace House Speaker Paul Ryan in Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District is apologizing for a drunk driving arrest that happened 20 years ago. And we're watching North Korea this morning as Secretary of State Mike Pompeo meets with top officials about denuclearization plans.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is July 7th. I'm Josh Breiter with meteorologist Chris Reese. Thanks so much for joining us. And hey, it looks like a spectacular weekend on tap. Finally, a nice dry stretch of weather.
That's right, a dry stretch of weather, a less humid stretch of weather as well. And that's going to lead into the weekend. You felt it first yesterday. Yes, my friends, that does continue today. We're starting off the morning with another beautiful sunrise, lots of color on the horizon as the sun comes on up. Temperatures this morning are mainly in the 40s and 50s. We don't have any kind of rain to worry about. Black River Falls at 49 right now. Same for Wautoma, Sheboygan at 48. Here in Madison, we are at 51 degrees as of now. As we go through the morning, I do expect 70s to return as we get you towards lunchtime, and we're going to hang out in the 70s. Today's high will be right around 79 degrees. Some folks down south along the Illinois border may get to about 80 or so, but dew points are remaining low as well in the 40s and 50s. They're going to be staying that way all day long, Josh, which means if you want to get outdoors, today is still comfortable. It's a great day to get outside. Traffic-wise, I know not a lot of folks are going to be up and out on a Saturday morning at 5 o'clock, but things are moving smoothly. There are no issues to report on the belt lines or any of the major highways.
It's nice to go outside and not just be a pile of sweat right away. So
I know what you mean. So it's refreshing to step outside this morning.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
We begin this morning with an update to a fire at a trucking company in Monroe last night. Right now, Fire Chief Dan Smits estimates the damage could be in excess of $1 million. The first call came in just before 6 o'clock last night. A fire was reported at a trucking company on County Highway F just east of Wisconsin Highway 69. In total, about 20 fire departments responded, and it took 6 hours to put out the flames. Officials say there were no injuries. Investigators will be back on the scene of that fire this morning to investigate the cause. A Middleton man is behind bars this morning after allegedly firing a weapon out of a moving vehicle and eluding authorities. Madison police say a caller reported a man firing some kind of weapon at the intersection of Wisconsin Avenue and East Gorham Street. It happened Thursday around 8 p.m. Witnesses thought it may have been fireworks. Officials say that the other drivers on the road had to swerve out of the way, but no one was injured. Police say the incident happened a day after 20-year-old Andrew Stoltz was threatening people with a flare gun on the 4th of July. Officers located Stoltz's car early Friday morning, followed him from Regent Street onto East Campus Mall, and eventually arrested him after he ran off near the UW campus. He's facing multiple tentative charges, including disorderly conduct while armed and recklessly endangered safety. New information about the crash involving a pedestrian Thursday night along the Beltline. The woman who was hit is said to be in stable condition this morning. It happened around 7:45 at the Beltline Southtown Drive exit. All westbound lanes of the Beltline were closed for about a half hour. Police say the 23-year-old woman had exited a vehicle near Southtown Drive and Royal Avenue and then ran down the eastbound on-ramp to Highway 12, tried running across traffic where she was hit by a white van driven by a 68-year-old Madison woman. The investigation into that incident continues. New this morning, a candidate for House Speaker Paul Ryan's seat in the state's 1st Congressional District is apologizing after a CNN report on his arrest record. Randy Bryce issued an apology on his website Friday, calling his 1998 Michigan drunk driving arrest dumb and inexcusable. He said he was immature and made a horrible, thoughtless decision. CNN reports he has been arrested 9 times. Bryce is an iron worker who has built a national following and fundraising base campaigning for Speaker Ryan's seat. He faces Janesville teacher Kathy Myers in the August 14th primary. The winner moves on to the November election to face one of 4 Republicans trying to replace Speaker Ryan. Tomorrow, Bryce and Myers will be in Lake Geneva for a debate. That's at 7 p.m. at Badger High School. 5:04 this morning. Right now, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is endorsing State Senator Leah Vukmir. She's vying for the right to challenge Senator Tammy Baldwin's bid for a second term. The Speaker attended a rally in Pewaukee last night with Senator Vukmir. Speaker Ryan called her a longtime friend, a conservative ally, and the right person to take on Tammy Baldwin this fall.
We know Leah Vukmir. Leah Vukmir is a doer. Leah Vukmir is the exact kind of person we want representing us in Wisconsin in the United States Senate.
There are 5 Republicans in the running, but analysts say Delafield management consultant and Marine Corps veteran Kevin Nicholson is Vukmir's most formidable opponent. The GOP primary is on August 14th. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is coming to western Wisconsin for a campaign rally with Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. Baldwin announced that the former presidential candidate will appear with her at a rally in Eau Claire next Saturday, July 14th. Right now, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in North Korea this morning to talk with Kim Jong-un's top officials about plans to dismantle nuclear and missile programs there. This comes after U.S. intelligence reports cast doubt on the dictator's intention to give up the country's nuclear weapons. President Trump is shrugging off those reports. The visit marks Pompeo's 3rd trip to Pyongyang and the first since President Trump and Kim Jong-un held a summit in Singapore last month.
We signed a wonderful paper saying they're going to denuclearize their whole thing. It's going to all happen.
The commitments Pompeo is looking for: North Korea would have to agree to declare all of its nuclear sites, allow inspectors into the country, and not demand the U.S. also give up its nuclear weapons. The Pentagon has already pulled back on large-scale training exercises. It's not clear what other incentives and concessions President Trump will offer Kim. Meanwhile, the Trump administration's plans to reunite families at the U.S.-Mexico border is still unclear this morning. In a court hearing Friday, the Trump administration argued it may not be able to fully comply with a federal judge's order to reunite nearly 3,000 children separated from their parents by the end of the month. An even faster approaching deadline: by Tuesday, the Trump administration is under orders to get about 100 children under the age of 5 back to their parents. The Department of Justice lawyer argues the government is stuck between the court's strict deadlines and legal requirements that children in government custody be released only into safe environments. Developing this morning, teams in Thailand are working on 2 different plans to rescue a soccer team trapped in a cave. Right now, the time is running out amid concerns about lack of oxygen and more flooding. CBS News correspondent Chris Martinez has the latest.
This video shows the tough conditions dive teams are dealing with as they work to rescue a soccer team trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand. They're preparing 2 different missions: getting the 12 children and their coach to the cave entrance, or going in from above, drilling down as many as 600 meters. The forecast calls for several days of rain, which means rising floodwater that could prompt a rescue attempt.
Maybe we try because we afraid of the weather and the oxygen in the cave.
The lack of oxygen inside has already claimed 1 victim, a former Thai Navy SEAL diver who died after passing out underwater. This was Sergeant Major Suman Kunan before he boarded a plane to help in the rescue effort. He said, "May good luck be on our side to bring the boys back home." But bringing them home has become increasingly complicated. Teams are using pumps to lower the water level, and they're teaching the group how to dive. But most don't even know how to swim, and this would not be an easy journey. It takes divers 5 hours to reach the team. The 25-year-old coach gave a note to rescuers, which was made public. It offered apologies to the parents of the boys.
Billionaire Elon Musk is also helping out in the rescue. He says he's sending engineers from SpaceX and specialists in tunnels to Thailand. 5:09 this morning, still to come. A beautiful weekend of weather is ahead for southern Wisconsin as our dry stretch continues. Here's a live look over the capital this Saturday morning. Waking up to some sunny skies and comfortable temperatures out there. Chris is in next with the full forecast. And there are several shows and movies you should find some time for this weekend. Will's in next with your 3 things to watch. That's just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Well, good morning. It's yet another beautiful start to the day here in southern Wisconsin. That's going to be the shape of your weekend as a whole, and you will certainly enjoy it. As you step outside this morning, temperatures a little bit cooler. Clear skies, though. Here's a live look downtown. A beautiful sunrise yet again. Pinks showing up on the horizon. Temperatures are in the lower 50s, 51 degrees, in fact, for us right now. 48 the dew point, so it is very crisp to the touch as you step outside. 50 degrees of temperature in Janesville right now. There are some upper 40s showing up in various locations across the state. Everyone warms through the 50s later on. And get this, we are actually cooler than we were yesterday. So yesterday at this time, we were about 10 degrees colder. So we're 20 degrees colder than, say, 48 hours ago. Dew points even a little bit lower this morning as opposed to yesterday morning. So it's still an all-around cooler feel with those dew points that are mainly in the 40s and 50s. And they're going to be staying that way as we go through the day. Winds are rather calm as you step outside. So there's no real breeze. That's actually what helped allow those temperatures to fall so low, with a lot of folks hitting the upper 40s this morning. But eventually they will take a turn out of the south as we go through the afternoon. This dome of high pressure moving slightly to the south and east, and eventually more of a southerly to southeasterly wind will begin to take over. So our mild temperatures will become more so warm, and eventually more in the way of humidity will come back into the picture as well. But get this, by Monday night into Tuesday, a weak cold front will come through, and that'll give us a few more extra days in the middle of the week of the pleasant weather out there. Now, as we go through the rest of the day, we'll watch our temperatures rise through the 70s. That is where they will hang out for those highs this afternoon. And then as we get you into tomorrow, it's going to be a similar story, except temperatures will actually be a little bit warmer, starting out in the mid-50s and then warming up into the mid-80s for those highs tomorrow. So this afternoon, do expect temperatures to be right around 79 degrees for your high. Very comfortable. It'll be one of the best afternoons we have seen in a while. 84 for your Sunday. Humidity does return on Monday with the high right around 87, but then we're cooler for those midweek days. The humidity will be a little less as well before we toast things back up towards the end of next week with the rain chance Friday and into Saturday.
I don't think I can complain about today at all. It's like picture perfect, Chris.
It is so perfect, Josh. I promise if you want to get outdoors today, it is a great day to do so.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Out for rental this weekend, a group of parents is making sure their kids' prom night doesn't get too crazy. Plus, there's a new Netflix comedy series available for binging this weekend and a classic film you might want to check out. Our film critic, Will Loper, has your 3 things to watch.
I'm ready. You look beautiful.
I used to hold that girl in the palm of my hand.
Kayla's becoming a woman. You're gonna have to deal with that.
New on home video this week is Blockers.
Tonight is the first night of our adult lives. I want to go to prom and lose my virginity.
Julie left her laptop open.
You guys are snipping on our kids?
All emojis have a secret meaning.
Maybe they're just saying, hey, you're okay with me. You're okay with me.
I mean, maybe.
What?
Our girls are not thinking things through. I'm gonna stop them.
I'm in.
John Cena, Leslie Mann, and Ike Barinholtz play parents who want to prevent their daughters from having too much fun on prom night.
They're getting away. WWVDD.
What would Vin Diesel do?
Hey, Fast and the Furious is completely unrealistic. It's not a documentary. I get that.
Blockers is available to rent or buy everywhere now. Grab your caffeine and go for a cruise for the newest season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee on Netflix now.
Would rather be a brain in a jar talking.
Their bodies are friends. You're like a toy person.
Jerry Seinfeld interviews comedians including Ellen DeGeneres, Dana Carvey, and Zach Galifianakis.
Whoa, that car just blew up.
What? Let's do it.
Whatever you're saying to me.
Your father was a drunk, your mother drove off a cliff. I don't care.
Just go and laugh.
All 12 episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee are available to stream on Netflix now.
And I'll tell you what, that's why I developed this show.
I was in a coma for 10 days.
But not the last 10 days.
Got a name, boy?
Virgil Tibbs.
Virgil.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have any trouble, are we, Virgil?
No trouble at all.
And all this hot weather brings to mind one of the greatest films ever made, In the Heat of the Night.
In the meanwhile, you just killed yourself a white man, just about the most important white man we got around here, and picked yourself up a couple of $100.
I earned that money 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Colored can't earn that kind of money, boy. Hell, that's more than I make in a month. Now, where did you earn it?
Philadelphia.
Mississippi?
Pennsylvania.
Not just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania earn that kind of money.
I'm a police officer.
Sidney Poitier stars as a detective helping Rod Steiger to solve a murder case in the South, where he faces racism and bigotry.
Well, when I examined the deceased, it was obvious that the fatal blow was struck from an angle of 17 degrees from the right, which makes it almost certain the person who did it is right-handed.
So what?
Old Harv's left-handed, Chief. Everybody in town knows that.
Yeah, that's what we figured out, Chief. Harvey's a lefty, uh-huh.
Well, you're pretty sure of yourself, ain't you, Virgil? Virgil, that's a funny name for a boy that comes from Philadelphia. What do they call you up there?
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
In the Heat of the Night is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Virgil? You take care. You hear?
Yeah. And those are the 3 things you need to watch. This is Will.
And we'll see an Ant-Man and the Wasp this weekend. Paul Rudd is back as the superhero that can change sizes super fast. That film is predicted to earn $70 to $80 million during its opening weekend, which would be way above the 2015 original debut of $57 million. Will have his review Monday on Live at 4. Coming up on 520 this morning and still ahead, Chris will have your updated forecast. And the UW wrestling team is mourning the loss of one of their own this morning. How the community is remembering him when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues.
Good morning. We are waking up to yet another beautiful day across south central Wisconsin. Temperatures are very cool in the lower 50s and upper 40s for a lot of us right now. Dew points are also low in the upper 40s, and that's that dry air that is keeping our temperatures very, very cool this morning. As we go through the rest of the day, we'll warm up through the 70s. We're expecting temperatures to be around 72 by 10 o'clock, 79 for your high into the afternoon and evening time, but we're going to keep a full sky of sunshine around all day. Dew points will also be remaining low, so no need to worry about any kind of humidity. Not today nor tomorrow. It'll be next week before that comes back. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Coming up on 524 this morning, with heavy hearts, the UW wrestling team is mourning the loss of one of their own this weekend. A vigil held on campus is giving the community a chance to remember and grieve 21-year-old Eli Stickley. Madeline O'Neill spoke with those who knew Stickley and shares their story.
I can tell you for sure the team will never be the same.
You may think of wrestling as a solitary sport.
He was a great wrestler.
But that's not how it was for Eli Stickley.
He was always there for everyone, always wanted people to hang out together and create a family because he knew that's what we needed.
Stickley, an Ohio native from a wrestling family, racked up plenty of personal accomplishments since joining UW's wrestling team in 2015, including becoming an academic All-American wrestler and an NCAA qualifier.
I had all the faith and belief in the world that this kid was going to be a national champion for the University of Wisconsin.
But those close to him best remember his contributions to the team.
He was really friendly to everybody.
Teammate and close friend Xander Wick says during their freshman year, Stickley brought a somewhat divided wrestling team together.
I have to say I think he was the glue in the family.
If you had a daughter, this was the guy that you'd want her to marry. He was absolutely a perfect guy.
It fell to wrestling coach Chris Bono.
I'm still in shock.
To let his team know that Stickley would no longer be joining them on the mat.
At first, I didn't want to believe it. I think I cried for probably 3 hours. I was just so heartbroken.
I asked him, you know, is there anybody in particular on the team that he was extremely close to that we make sure we take care of? One of our athletes said, you know, Coach, Eli never had an issue with one guy on this team.
Dead after a car crash in Illinois, Stickley leaves behind a team that he helped build into something more.
He wanted to make sure I knew that we were there as brothers and not just as teammates. It wasn't business, it was family.
An outpouring of support on social media and a vigil held Friday evening on campus show that even in death, Stickley's signature move to bring people together lives on.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This guy's touched a lot of people.
Stickley had a passenger in the car during that crash. That's according to the Rock Island Dispatch Argus in Illinois. The condition of the passenger, who hasn't yet been identified, is still unknown this morning. 526 is your time. There's much more ahead here on News 3 this morning, Saturday. Next, we're running through today's top stories. And after another arrest for car thefts in Madison, police are warning you to be on the lookout. We'll explain straight ahead. Right now, the 4 remaining Beloit school board members will discuss how to fill their vacant seats today after voting to remove the president. And Madison police are reminding people to lock their car doors after arresting a teen for stealing from unlocked vehicles on the north side.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 5:30 now on this July 7th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris will join us in a moment with your weather, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. New this morning, police are again reminding people to lock their vehicles after a teen was cited for stealing cars in a Northside neighborhood. Madison police say they arrested 17-year-old Jeremiah Ollie early Friday morning after a homeowner on Heath Avenue saw him checking vehicle doors there. That's right off of Packers Avenue. When officers located the teen, officials say he had more than $70 worth of coins in his pockets and backpack. He also had charging cords, a credit card, and the car key from the woman who called 911. Police say Ollie was cited and released. The incident comes as auto thefts in Madison are at an all-time high, roughly 200 so far this year. In June alone, 38 cars were stolen, 36 had keys inside. Madison police say the crimes are often committed by juveniles. They fear they ride these joyrides will eventually cause a serious accident. They're working with community leaders to remind everyone to lock their car doors, garages, and homes.
I think people just are comfortable in their neighborhood, and they should be able to be comfortable in their neighborhood, right? However, we have an increased amount of theft going on, especially involving, vehicles, and so we just need to be more conscious of what we're doing and what we're not doing.
Madison police are using social media to remind everyone to lock their car doors. You can show how you're doing part in keeping the community safe by using the hashtag #NightlyLockup. Right now, a wrongful death lawsuit will continue after a judge denies the defendant's claim that they're bankrupt. 23-year-old Emily Zhu was killed in a June 2015 crash after she was hit by a car while riding her bicycle on trail across Raymond Road. An investigation from Madison police concluded that Zhu did not have the right-of-way when she was biking, but her parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the driver. The judge said Friday that the driver and his wife filed the bankruptcy lawsuit to avoid paying the debt they could owe Emily Zhu's parents if they win the wrongful death lawsuit. A Madison man will spend the next 2 years in prison for being in possession of one of the stolen guns from a Cross Plains gun shop last year. 25-year-old Keith Harris pleaded guilty to possessing and concealing a stolen gun in April. You may remember the robbery. It happened last October. 3 men smashed a stolen car through the locked storefront at PT Firearms. 14 firearms were stolen. So far, police have arrested 1 person who admitted to his involvement. And now here's Chris with your spectacular Saturday forecast. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Josh. Another spectacular sunrise out of Platteville as well. Absolutely gorgeous just how fiery red that horizon is out there. I mean, man, you could just look at that all morning. But of course, we do have to get through the rest of the weather too. Temperatures are cooler in the 40s and 50s this morning. So if you're going to be out early, just know it's going to be a little bit brisk. Those dew points are low as well. 79 will be the high as we get you into the afternoon and evening. And we'll keep those dew points pretty much staying low all day long. In fact, they're lower than they were yesterday morning, staying in the 40s and low 50s as we go through the next 12 hours and into at least first half of your Sunday as well. First alert traffic continues to run smoothly across the belt lines downtown. You'll be happy to know that there are no issues at all so far. Of course, we do have the farmers market that'll get started here in a couple of hours. But any of the highways headed to the belt line, no, it'll take you about your normal time. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. The Beloit School Board will hold a special meeting later this morning to determine who will fill 3 empty seats. This comes after 4 board members held a special meeting Tuesday night to discuss conduct of the board president. According to the current board member, unfriendly email exchanges between the president and interim superintendent sparked the special meeting. During that meeting, they voted to remove Lori Endress from her seat as president. Shortly after the decision, the vice president and treasurer submitted resignations. The school board is holding a special meeting today from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Board of Education office, room 106, to elect new members. Happening tomorrow, there's an opportunity for people in Sauk County to learn more about the Democratic contenders for governor. Tomorrow at Reedsburg Area High School, 8 candidates will be sharing why they are running, fielding questions, and helping voters cast an informed vote during the primary election on August 14th. The Reedsburg Area Concerned Citizens is hosting that forum. After concern about a large number of Democrats looking to challenge Governor Walker, the field is beginning to narrow with 8 major candidates vying for the spot. Matt Flynn, Andy Gronick, Mike McCabe, Josh Pade, Kelda Roys, Paul Soglin, Kathleen Vinehout, and Dana Walks have confirmed they'll be at tomorrow's forum. Tony Evers and Malin Mitchell have also been invited to attend. That's again at the Reedsburg Area High School Cal Center from 2 to 4 p.m. Right now, Marquette University says it will comply with an order from the Wisconsin Supreme Court to reinstate a conservative professor who was fired in connection to a blog post that criticized a student instructor. The court sided with former Professor John McAdams yesterday, saying the school breached a contract with him that guaranteed academic freedom. In a statement, the university says the case was never about free speech, but rather a professor who used a personalized blog to mock a student teacher. The post criticized the student teacher he believed shut down discussion about opposition to gay marriage. That student teacher received a flood of hateful messages and threats because of that post. 5:36 right now, still ahead this morning. Chris is tracking that beautiful weekend forecast you're sure to love. And a recall alert for certain pills in blister card packages. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning to all of my friends out there. Let's go ahead and take a live look at Platteville, where we continue to watch an absolutely phenomenal sunrise going on out there. Sky full of color. Here in Madison, the sun now rising above the horizon. Also just as beautiful with several colors on the horizon. Temperatures right now are still in the lower 50s, 51 in fact for us here in Madison. Dew points also very low in the upper 40s. So as you actually step outside, it will be cool to the touch. I know the humidity says 89%, but humidity is actually a relative thing. The dew points are what helps it feel so dry and cool out there. Temperatures will be staying in the 70s for most of the day, topping out right around 79 this afternoon under a full sky of sunshine. If you've got yard work to do, folks, today is the day. Go ahead. Just suck it up, get outside. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal time. It won't be anywhere near as bad as we've had in previous weeks with the heat and the humidity. Josh.
No excuses, Chris. Thank you. Right now, California is sweltering under record-breaking high temperatures, and the extreme heat is adding to the wildfire danger. Temperatures are soaring in that state well into the triple digits. That's up to 25 degrees above normal. The National Weather Service has issued warnings for dangerous extreme heat and critical fire danger. Several dozen fires are burning in 11 western states, and so far one death has been reported in Northern California near the Oregon border. On the Health Watch right now, doctors at Yale say efforts to combat opioid addiction need to do more to take gender into account. Those doctors point out many substance abuse interventions and developed around men, even though women have a greater sensitivity to pain and are more likely to begin misusing opioids through medical treatments. Right now, pharmaceutical company Novartis is recalling certain pills and blister card packages because they don't meet U.S. standards for child-resistant packaging. That affects 12 different medications, including Zofran, used to prevent nausea after chemotherapy, and another used to treat Alzheimer's disease. One child has ingested medication from one of the packs. The same prescription and bottles are not affected by the recall. If you have medication from Novartis in a blister card package, put it out of reach of children and call the company's customer service number. Just about 5:42 right now. Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we have you covered. We'll take a look at some of the events happening around town this weekend in your Weekend 608. That's coming up when News 3 This Morning Saturday returns. But first, let's take a look at Who's 3 today.
Look who's
Good morning, folks. If you're waking up and just joining us, thank you for doing so. It's another beautiful day that we'll have out there. Clear skies will linger pretty much all day long. Temperatures right now are in the lower 50s, 51 degrees. In fact, dew points in the upper 40s. So as you step outside, that's part of why it is actually very cool out there. Watoma at 49 degrees. Black River Falls coming in at 48 degrees this morning. Janesville a little bit warmer, 1 degree warmer, in fact, at 52 degrees this morning. Temperatures are actually about 10 to 13 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. That second day of the cold front is usually one of the colder days there. And then, of course, dew points also lower than they were this time yesterday as well. So that's also just one of those things that's allowing those temperatures to continue to get cooler. In fact, 48th dew point here in Madison. Wisconsin Dells dew point there at 46. That's some dry air for the first week of July. Some very dry air for July, in fact. If you're stepping out looking for wind, winds are fairly calm with that dome of high pressure pretty much right on top of us, but we'll eventually get in on a slight southerly wind flow as we go through the day, and that is going to make changes starting into next week. This high pressure moving off to the east now. The clockwise wind flow around that as wind will find our winds turning out of the south. This is a warming wind, so eventually we'll see our temperatures come up just a little bit as well, and some humidity will sneak back into the picture, yes, but as we get you into Monday night, check the cold front coming in from the north and west. That will actually bring us a few more days of some cooler weather. But as we go through the rest of today, temperatures will top out right around 79 degrees or so. That will come in the early afternoon. And then as we get you into tomorrow, temperatures once again starting out cool in the mid-50s before topping out this time tomorrow in the 80s. So things will be a bit warmer as we head into the second day of your weekend. 55 to 74 degrees this morning, this afternoon. We'll see those highs right around 79 degrees. It will be very pleasant as well, but by Monday, 87 returns to the picture and a bit more humidity, but temperatures do drop Tuesday and Wednesday as we see that reinforcing shot of cooler air coming back into the picture. There are signs that'll last into Thursday, but for now we're going to keep Thursday pretty warm. After that, return flow kicks back in. We'll see temperatures in the upper 80s once again, and then some shower and thunderstorm chances into Saturday. Your pet walk, Zeus and Athena and Sun Prairie, absolutely giving each other a little love gaze there, but I'm sure that they are a joy to walk. In fact, it will be a joy to walk them today, 79 degrees by 3 o'clock.
I feel like finally the weekend, I feel like we've had so many weekends have either been hot or storms or...
Yep.
No complaints now.
So I'm saying, if you want to give me all the credit for this weekend, I've worked hard. We finally have a nice one.
But when the weather's bad, it's the opposite, right?
Yeah, when the weather's bad, it's not my fault, folks.
All right, Chris, thank you. 5:48 right now. It is the weekend into 6:08.
That's right. Here's a look at what's going on around town.
The National Women's Music Festival is in town. The theme of this year's festival is We Persist, a phrase that women around the world have taken to heart over the last year. It started Thursday and runs through tomorrow at the Marriott Madison West. It's open to all genders and cultural backgrounds to attend. Besides music, there will be workshops, a marketplace, theater and film presentations, spirituality, a writing series, and more.
And this weekend presents a great opportunity to drive. In fact, do yourself a favor and plant yourself in a lawn chair in front of the Rotary Park Gazebo in Stoughton. It's the Catfish River Music Festival put on by Stoughton Opera House with back-to-back live music performances featuring a diverse lineup, many of them folk and bluegrass, and perfect background music for a summer Wisconsin festival. It continues this afternoon at 4, running through tomorrow as well.
It's the first time for this one, the Need for Speed. The inaugural Festival of Speed celebrates being active with several races, including a 5K run walk and a leisurely 25-mile bike ride for participants who want to take part in the views of the South Metro. The day doesn't end at the finish line, though. Enjoy some live music, a Kids Zone bounce house, and balloon artist. That starts this morning bright and early at 7:30 at the Agora Complex in Fitchburg.
All right, and as always, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all the best in the Madison area. And we're not in Kansas anymore, but thanks to the 1939 classic film, we all know the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy the Gang and Toto, too, have taken over the stage at the Palace Theater in the Dells this summer. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out the Broadway musical version of The Wizard of Oz.
Did you just hear what I just heard?
That noise don't come from an ordinary bird.
It may be just a cricket or a critter in the trees.
It's giving me the jitters in the joints around my knees.
I think I see a shadow and it's fuzzy and it's furry.
I haven't got a brain, but I think I ought to worry. I haven't got a heart, but I feel a palpitation.
Is Monica the forest? I don't like this situation.
Are you gonna stand around and let him fill us full of horror?
Well, I'd like to roar him down. But I think I lost my roar.
The stage version is quite different from the movie, only because you get the chance to be truly in the room with someone. Don't we all wish that we could have a conversation with Judy or Ray? And instead, you get this magical moment when you're on stage, where as an actor, I can feel the energy of the audience along with me. And so even though we're telling the story that's going to remind everybody of the wonderful nostalgia that comes along with the movie The Wizard of Oz, we all get to go on the journey together. The bees and the breeze and the bats and the trees have a terrible, horrible buzz. But the bees and the breeze and the bats and the trees couldn't do what the jitterbug does.
What's it like being in The Wizard of Oz, but being the person that all the kids are terrified of?
Oh, it's the most fun. It is the best part of the whole show. I think because it's the part that kids are most terrified of, you really get to play with it, and you really get to morph into this type of creature, and it's fun to play with their imagination.
And how difficult it is to do this, because there's a lot of singing and dancing, and you're in a lot of makeup and a lot of costume in there.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hot. It's really, really hot. I keep a lot of Powerade, a lot of water backstage, because sometimes when I come off, I'm just panting and sweating. But when you get out there, you get this adrenaline rush when you're in front of the audience and the crowds, and when you hear the laughter and the applause, and people love the lion. And so it really just boosts me up, and it helps me to give a better performance. And sometimes I just forget how tired I am.
I think for an actor, what I think is the most difficult thing is that you want to be authentic and original, but with a character, like you said, that's so iconic, you do have to bring in what the original actor brought to it. You have to at least, like, give that character a high five when you're doing this. And I think the hardest part for me was the voice. So I don't speak very much like the original Scarecrow did. I do similarly, but I tend to sit a bit lower, and I don't have, like, that nice wistful bit that he had.
Keep away from the jitterbug. The jitterbug. The jitterbug. The jitterbug. The jitterbug. Look out for that bug.
The Wizard of Oz is at the Palace Theater in the Dells now through August 26th. For more information, you can go to dellsplace.com.
That looks good.
Sure does.
All right, 5:53 this morning. There's a full hour of News 3 ahead this morning at 8 o'clock. But first, when we come back, we'll meet a pretty spunky grandma out of Virginia. How she's celebrating her 84th birthday in style when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues.
Well,
Finally this morning, there's a pretty spunky grandma out of Virginia celebrating her 84th birthday in style.
It's not your typical cake and ice cream, that's for sure. Ann Robertson jumped out of a plane with her daughter and 4 grandchildren to celebrate the big milestone. She says it's been part of her bucket list for a few years. She's already walked the Great Wall of China, played with elephants in Thailand, and swam with dolphins in Antigua. Robertson only had a few more things on her bucket list, but says there'll be a piece of cake compared to this.
I want a zip line and I want a parasail. And the children said I should have done that before this, because that'll be kind of anticlimactic. But
compared to jumping out of a plane.
I love it. When asked if she'd make the jump again, she said, "If I had the money." Isn't that the truth?
Or is that a way of saying no? You never know. I'm pretty sure it was quite the experience. Speaking of experiences, the weather this afternoon, absolutely fantastic.
Get outside.
We've already seen a gorgeous sunrise this morning. Temperatures at 51 degrees, but we're going to make it into the upper 70s this afternoon with lots of sunshine.
Woohoo. All right, we'll see you back here in about 25 minutes and back here at 8 o'clock. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.